you're left with us. It's us, or if you don't want me, I just put the recording on. It's not very popular because it's a lot of rubbish. It's made by the company, so it does all the adverts for city cruises, and it's quite outdated now, several years old. Right? So our commentary, I'll make it up every day, so it's fresh. I can never remember the old way. So is this okay? Put your hand up if you would like a live commentary. Whoa, fantastic. Try my best, don't expect miracles. Here we are, I'm going to give it. We'll begin with the bridge ahead of us. We'll soon be passing under an old railway bridge. Been here since 1845. And before this, there was a footbridge designed by Isambard Kingdom Brunel, a very famous Briton and one of our greatest ever engineers, Brunel. I mentioned him a few times more on the way down the river. You go quite a lot here along and on the Thames and underneath it. There are footbridges on either side of the tracks. These were added back in 2002 and named the Golden Jubilee footbridges. We celebrated our Queen's 50th year on the throne. It done quite a lot that year, including adding these footbridges and naming them the Golden Jubilee football bridges. And as we come down through on the right, the South Bank Centre, synonymous with the arts and entertainment. The first building, named Royal Festival Hall, one of Europe's finest concert halls. Further along, rock entertainment buildings. So these venues have been here for decades. So it's a very busy, lively area. Thousands of people walk along the river here every day. And of course, you've got many bars and restaurants. So it's a lovely little area to wander. On your left, there's an ancient Egyptian obelisk. Cleopatra's Needle. Nothing to do with Queen Cleopatra. That's much older than her. It was made some 3,500 years ago. Some say it was a gift, others say we stole it. It's here today and has been for over 200 years. Cleopatra's Needle. So the oldest feat on our journey. And now, Waterloo Bridge, named after the famous Battle of Waterloo, but he has a nickname as the Ladies' Bridge because it was built by women. Work started just before the Second World War broke out. When the war started, all the men working on the bridge were there to go and fight and to leave the country. So the ladies, they stepped in and built London's longest bridge. It's central London and it is the biggest bridge we have. Furthermore, it is the only bridge in London ever to be built on time and under budget. So, well done to the girls. Good work. On your right, with the digital display, that's our National Theatre. Closed here for many years, on and off, and it's London's most possibly ugliest looking building. Yeah, it's not pretty, is it? But like the old saying goes, you don't judge a book by its cover. So within inside are three of the country's finest theatres. The main one, the Olympian, after the famous actor Laurence Olivier, the founder of the National Theatre. I mentioned the tide once again, it is coming towards us, flooding in. It's a very strong, fast flowing river. It comes in for about 6 hours and it goes out for about 6 hours. So every day it changes course 4 times. It is always moving, and that's why the river is murky. It's mud. It's a mud-based river. Believe me or not, it is one of Europe's cleanest working rivers. At last count, the Environmental Agency They recorded 128 species of aquatic life, lots of fish, birds, and mammals. There's a colony of 3,000 seals, harbour seals living on the Thames estuary, and every now and again they come into London eating fish. And if you look off to your right, more proof of how clean it is. There's a sandy, golden, tropical flag foreshore. Who needs to go to the Bahamas, the Maldives, one day when we have that? That will disappear. Give it half hour, an hour, and the tide will be above the beach. And all that fun will come to a stop. The Oxford Tower, it is the only advert along the river. You notice that? Well, not noticed. A lack of advertisement. But it's a royal highway, and therefore advertisement is pretty much banned along the Thames. That's where they used to make the Oxford stock queue back in the 1930s. It's mostly apartments now, like all the old warehouses, it's been transformed into luxury accommodation. Now you can see to your left, along the wall there are heads of lions just behind us. Green heads of lions there as a flood warning from years ago by the Victorians. If the river level covered their faces, they would warn people of a flood. And they made up these sayings. They used to say, if the lions drink, London will sink. When the river reached their main, they go down the drain. And when their heads are ducked, the building on the left with the green roof, the old City of London School for Boys. Today its offices for J.P. Morgan, the bank. The statues between the windows are of Francis Bacon, William Shakespeare, John Milton, and Sir Isaac Newton, four of this country's most famous and greatest scholars and scientists. And here we have the Blackfriars Bridges. They kind of form a tunnel on the river, and for years now it's come to be known as the Thames Tunnel of Love. And they say that if you kiss someone while we're in the tunnel, you kiss a loved one, it'll bring you to many years of happiness, joy and bliss. So don't be shy. If you're not with a loved one, just kiss your wife or your husband. How is it going so far? Is it coming through loud and clear? So far. So we just recruit folks. English can be best. Over on the right here, nice old pub. Very busy as always. Many riverside pubs are always packed, especially on the weekend, especially when it's sun is out. Also very busy is the St. Modern.
That's the one we went to.
Starring with a big chimney. They used to burn oil. It was a power station. Nowadays, it is the Tate Modern. It's full up with modern art, and it is free to go to. Once you've been, you realise why it's free to go to. Up to your left, St. Paul's. You see the dome? It is the second largest of its kind in the world. It's surprised when some people say, well, no, but there's an observation deck. There are people up there. How many people make it to the top? Because there's no lift. You have to climb the stairs. 528 steps to make it to the top. But once you're there, you get lovely views, unspoiled from the centre of the City of London. The architect, Christopher Wren, he rebuilt much of London, the city, here to your left, after the Great Fire in 1666. And so he's buried there today with the Duke of Wellington and Lord Nelson. Another famous Englishman, of course, William Shakespeare. I mentioned him earlier, back at the school, here on the right, it's where he used to work. He came in, like all other playwrights and actors, this was London's theatre land. In the 1500s, this is where people come for fun, and they rebuilt the Globe. Look, back on your right, see that white building on the thatched roof? That's the Globe Theatre. It's been in that for about 30 years, the dream of an American filmmaker, Sam Wanamaker. He actually tried for many years to get this built. He had to have the law changed, simply. Since the Great Fire of London, it was forbidden for any wooden structures to stand in or around the capital. Go there today for a performance, a play. It's like going back in time. There's no electricity, no modern technology, speakers, lights, no air conditioning, ain't even got plumbing, no toilets. So before you go, you must ask yourself, to pee or not to pee? Definitely to pee. Coming up on the right, another busy little bar. See where people sat on the wall. There's another big beer garden here. Just coming into view, a little grand building with a red windows. It is the Anchor. Named the Anchor. And if you take a picture on the sign where it says the Anchor, it says there, built 1615. That's over 400 years old. It's not the oldest in London. It's not even the oldest along the river. So it is one of them. And it's probably one of the most famous pubs we have here on the banks of the Thames, the Anchor Tavern. Frequented over the years by some very great people. Shakespeare, Brand, Charles Dickens, me and Captain Dan, that's where we go most nights. It's where we conduct the research for these commentaries, you see. It's where we go. Another pub to your right, sometimes we go here too. This was an old warehouse. Pickford's Hall, an old working building. Now, offices, apartments, and a pub on the ground floor. And the pirate ship, you remember that movie, Pirates of the Caribbean? Yeah, remember that movie? That ship's got nothing to do with it. Let's move on. Ahead of us is London Bridge. This is it. You see this? This is London Bridge. You'll see for yourself very soon. When we get under, look to your left, not that abutment stole itself, which you'll see today. Not quite that, but you'll see it. Clear as day, London Bridge. There have been many versions of this. The new bridge here has been here for about 50 years. The old bridge was here for over 100 years, and that is now, does anyone know? Shows you how close that bridge. Yes, Lake Dallas. In Arizona, in the US of A, the old London Bridge is now in America. The first London Bridge was built here by the Romans 2,000 years ago. There's little gaps here. And by the way, through the gap is a monument to the Great Fire of London. That's very close where the fire began. 1666, mentioned earlier. But through that gap stood the original London Bridge. That's like the gap between the buildings. The one down there, that's Tower Bridge. We'll get onto that very soon. So he's down and get us right on top of the bridge. It's going to be very close. And then I'll manoeuvre the boat, turn the in so you get a nice picture. Straight to the right, the tallest building in the country. It's 2012, the biggest in the UK. It's over 1,000 feet. Look up to your left, back to the city.
Sure, надо
Building the ground floor. It's all offices, apart from the very, very top. Next one is the London Square Garden, and that is free to go to. There's no charge to go up there. London Square Garden. There's literally a garden in the roof of that building. You see, the only reason they got permission to build it is if they remove
jakieś turystyczne, czy miasto turystyczne?
The HMS
Co
Belfast,
to za słowa?
11,500 tons. She has guns which are capable of firing a 100 weight shell 14 miles. She's one of the fastest ships back during the Second World War. The HMS Belfast was built at the Harlem and Wharf shipyard, where they built the ill-fated Alexander. The museum today can take you many hours to explore. I would save it for a rainy day. It doesn't rain often in London, but when it does, I'll pop it to a museum. Our stop is on your left. Instead of racing down the river, shooting straight into the pier. Right, we'll have to take a